All right, so I just, after leaving the Badlands for about an hour and 45 minutes, and I'm now in the town of Deadwood. I had a good friend recommend checking out Deadwood to me back in Atlanta. He told me to come here, and it's like nestled in the Black Hills. I had to get off 90 and drive for about 30 minutes into the Black Hills. So this is an old lawless, your classic old Western town. Gambling is legal here. It's got a lot of interesting history. This very old Western looking town here. All right, so after a late night drive up into the Black Hills, I got to sleep here last night at the foot of the Mount Roosevelt trailhead, which I'm going to take this morning. All right, so now I'm going to check out this little Mount Roosevelt trail, just a little one mile loop up in the Black Hills. Should have some nice views. And then I've got a 6-hour drive to Cody, Wyoming. This next week, next 5 or 6 days, I'm going to be doing Yellowstone, Jackson Hole, and the Grand Tetons. So today's Monday. And then in a week from today, I have my wilderness survival course in Idaho. So I want to hit the whole Yellowstone area tomorrow and the next 5 days or so, and then off to my wilderness survival course. Oh, check out this view, Black Hills. It's pretty sweet.
It is.
Where y'all from?
Here.
If you look straight ahead, way in the distance, is what is known as Bear Butte. And this is a significant place for the Native Americans. The Cheyennes up here thought it had a lot of spiritual significance. They would pray a lot there, and they had these prayer bundles. They tie prayer cloths and tobacco bundles to the trees, believing they will carry their prayer intentions to the Great Spirit, aka God. And here's an overlook of the Black Hills. I believe that's the small town of Spearfish down there. Don't think you can see Deadwood from here, but it's not. It's somewhere over to the right, I think. The other interesting thing about Deadwood I forgot to mention yesterday that I learned on the brothel tour was, it was originally established as a mining town in, I think, 1876. So there were like tons of men here. I think at one point there was 20,000 men and 200 women, and half those women were prostitutes. So that's why the brothel industry was so booming here, because there were just so many men, and they were, looking for gold and doing their thing. So basically the brothels brought in a ton of money, so the town kind of just ignored it, and they didn't want to. No one in the town wanted to stop it. There were a couple journalists and few people that tried to shut them down, but they brought in a ton of money, so that was one of the reasons they kept going. And the brothel stayed in existence up until 1980. It wasn't until then it was raided, but there were like 7 of them, and they were all in use up until that point. All right, so check it out. Just up from the overlook is the Theodore Roosevelt Monument. And this tower was built in 1919 in dedication to Theodore Roosevelt. Bullock, one of the local guys here, was a good friend of Teddy Roosevelt, and he was instrumental, along with Gifford Pinchot, in starting the conservation of the Black Hills. With the booming mining of Deadwood in 1876, millions of tons of lumber were cut down, and the deforestation was rapidly progressing until the conservationist movement in the late 1800s and early 1900s, with Teddy Roosevelt, Bullock, and many others, helped preserve and create the national forest and preserve the Black Hills and much of this land to public use so that it could not be deforested. So Bullock, as a good friend of Roosevelt, built this little monument in commemoration of him after his death.